Hargrave Jennings was a British Freemason, Rosicrucian and writer. He was born in 1817. His most famous work is his The Rosicrucians, Their Rites and Mysteries, but he wrote most often on phallism, or on phallic worship all over the world, and claiming a higher symbolic derivation for these. In phallic worship, phallicism, celestial and terrestrial, heathen and Christian, or phallic objects, monuments and remains, declaring phallicism as the origin of all religion. He died in 1890. We shall review his 1846 The Ship of Glass, or The Mysterious Island. Though a 3-volume edition, we will only concern ourselves with the first 2 volumes. Well, not entirely. You see, the book does something I've never seen done before. The first volume is taken up by the title story, but its remainder in volume 2 is only about 60 pages. I don't understand why the first volume wasn't made just a bit longer to fit it all in. The majority of this edition consists, despite the title, of an unrelated romance, actually, which we shall omit. Taking place in a vague pre-medieval Spain in a fictional country or province of Alto Sierra, we begin the story with a ribald band of drinkers in a tavern in the city of Tafnacarifas. There we see Pietro descend upon the poor tailor Pimpernella, who boasted he would sneak into the yard of the wizard machinist Klypp Heufueros and see his daughter, whom no one had seen in her 17 years of life, as Klypp refuses to ever let her leave the house, and then backed out. Pietro and his friends seize the tailor and tie him to a beam, ready to pelt him with heavy metal and glass mugs and smash his head in for boasting. But then a giant shoe is thrown through the window, heralding the approach of Knyck the Roarer, a man who climbs up the walls of people's houses and dances upon their weathercocks out of spite. The company desists from, shall we say, mugging the tailor to death, and Knyck takes his boast on himself. Meanwhile in his house, Klypp Heufueros is concerned with a great undertaking, for the whole of the nation is obsessed with the idea of discovering a mysterious unknown island, which is said to be nearby but which one had never seen. 3 centuries ago, the ancient hag Tomanraita, so old that none dares to try and guess her age, proclaimed a prophecy that only a ship made of light whose crew could cast no shadow could ever find the island. After much consideration, Klypp decides this must mean the ship must be made of glass. In the meantime, Aphrodite, his daughter, is lounging in her room, sick of being able to only walk the shipbuilding yard and only at night. Little does she know Knyck had snuck into the house, and even then, when she was just alone, came to her door. Of course he falls in love at first sight, and after making his presence known, so does Aphrodite, starved of any male company but that of her father and kept a prisoner her whole life. Sadly, at this point, Jennings has the book come to a grinding halt. Not only does he spend a good 20 pages going on about each other's new feelings in broad allegorical strokes, but spends 40 pages and 2 chapters on nothing but an empty allegory and seemingly laden diatribe on the nature of love. As the ship of glass is ready, the governor, Tofai Calumet, shows his disappointment that no one wants to board her. He offers a great reward, and even Klypp is willing to offer his daughter's hand to anyone who would be a captain. Somehow that lifelong isolation of hers that was never given a reason for can be tossed aside apparently. Knyck comes forward and volunteers, and the governor has condemned prisoners make up half his crew, while the other half are taken from the seamen of the harbour, who are ordered to accept lest they be set out to sea in a ship without sails, oars or rudder to die as punishment. The ship goes out, the whole crew being forced into perpetual muteness during the whole voyage, and the ship, which had been built up for over half a volume, sails and sinks 20 pages later. Jennings remembered Pietro and company existed, you see, so he had Pietro be one of the crew and raise a mutiny right before the ship got smashed up just in front of the island. The island has a lot of gold and silver and other such things, but there's nothing remarkable about it. The crew just makes a raft and gets home. There are good things about the novel, but the voyage is very disappointing.